Hey everybody. We're gonna play. I think it's called Solace State. I'm not quite sure. Sorry, I was checking to see what my doggy was doing underneath my feet. yeah, we're gonna start a new game. I've never played this before. I just got it like a couple days ago, and I finished a few other games, so now it's time to play this. This is who we are. Listen carefully. What do you think the greatest cultural treasure of our country is? It's our moral discipline. Discipline that can guide ideological purity. And it comes from cultivation of years of values perpetuated by lineages like ours. Our strength is righteousness, welded to a harmonious society. I don't know if I said that right. Only a few in the world understand the sacrifice necessary for the stabilization and preservation of this country. Teaching the country what kind of kinship our means being swatched in blood, as inexorable as the most skillful hunters rear their strongest hawkings. Whole groups of people are messy and profane. They require reform. They have neither comprehension of greater objective outside themselves, nor order to their subjective worlds. Hold on. Sorry, I wanted to drink some tea. Make sure my dogs are not annoying each other. Anyways, we put the big picture first. We must stand as stewards to correct the course of influences, defiling our country's minds, our bodies, and our lands. And as this station, all the risks are worth taking. If it wasn't for Rebecca, Chloe would have been saturated with these bottomless ideologies. I don't know how to say that. Rebecca, who started off as Chloe's tutor and grew up to become her best friend. If it wasn't for Rebecca helping Chloe hide her secret, Chloe may have fallen in with people who would have taken advantage of her. Chloe is a iconohacker, a 2 in a million twist of a mathematical equation, a human with the innate ability to influence the physical and metaphysical world. Sorry. Without biotech interfaces or cybernetics. I ain't gonna remember that. Most people do not believe someone like her can exist. She's a theoretical possibility, a rare interface between human and digital circuitry, a myth of biotech revolution. And now, to live with her values and secrets intact, Chloe and Rebecca are planning to flee the province to a place where they won't have to be persecuted for who they are and what they believe in. Hey, the moment you do this, you cannot turn back. You won't ever get to talk to these people again. Yes, I know. I'm getting used to my new name already. Shh. Oh, okay, good. You have a silencing diffuser set up. Still, be careful. You don't associate as your new identity until we're safely out of here. What about you? Are you sure you want to come with me? Won't I be a burden? No one but you treats me like who I actually am. I want to leave here as much as you. Rebecca's normal self-taught hacker, but she's a mind for MacGyvering her way through situations where most people would be stumped by the unknown. Under the constant slit of fear and surveillance, Rebecca has helped Chloe organize her iconohacking mental facilities so that her mind and body isn't porous to the onslaught of digital electrical signals from the world over. They summarize that different iconohackers must specialize in different abilities, not that there's much direct experimental data on the subject. Okay. Nonetheless, Chloe's iconohacking focus is on identity. She can steal information by scrapping digital content from anyone's forefront thought and tightly held secrets. She can also change the entirety of her identity both her digital ID as well as project a new perceived appearance into people's brains. This all happens within milliseconds for Chloe compared to hours and days for conventional hackers. And now comes the real test of Chloe's abilities, fleeing from this place. You know how to focus your abilities, just be decisive. Only in extenuating circumstances should you use a biohack. Aren't those considered extenuating circumstances though? Like my biohack abilities to trigger someone's adrenaline, numb their nervous system, or erode their short-term memories can come in handy. How often have you trained to biohack someone versus leverage the data that you've hacked? You've barely tried different scenarios in the former, since it's invasive, coercive, dangerous. It's someone can figure out. It's an icon of hacker's dirty work. So unpredictable in its outcome. It'll take a lot of energy out of you, and we still need to skip town safely. But as I said, be decisive. Weigh the circumstances and consequences when you're making your decisions. Okay, I've already got Daria's fake ID. It'll just be like all those times that I've snuck in and out of this compound using it. The difficult part is to get information to control the guard movement at both this compound and at the train station that we need to get to. Don't worry, I've got this. I'm made to implant ideas in people's head, aren't I? And our dear head servant, Daria, has scolded me so many countless times. I'm sure I'll know how to mimic her well. Don't take out your frustration on these people, okay? Don't forget what I've taught you, and we'll be able to get where we need to go with no retaliation and with minimal impact on them. It'll be fine. I'll do fine, my friend. Running through the plan again. As Daria, I set up a meeting time to talk with the interior security staff. Mycelin. This has happened from time to time, so it won't arouse suspicion at all. Yep, and we've blocked all communication between the real Daria and Mycelin. Their paths won't cross. So the order of business is that I'll hack Mycelin as Daria to make our disappearance out of sight and out of mind, get what intel we need to keep us safe, keep us as a false alibi, buy us as much of a window as possible. Daria also has key access around town for errands to help us get past border checks. So I'll just keep being her afterwards. It'll work. Alright, I'm ready. I'm focused. Synchronized even. Good. Remember to breathe. I'm going to be out of sight while you do your thing. Alright, you enter a hack by selecting hack character name icon near a character when the button appears. Hack character. Hack data can be read in any order. Data type. You can read all of them before you make a choice using the hack action buttons. Just click the back button to go back to the list of hacked data. Take your time. There's no timed actions. You may not be able to act on all the choices currently available to you, so prioritize your choices carefully. Once you take an action, characters will react. Some might even talk amongst themselves about what you chose to do. Hacking is intuitive for Chloe. In terms of lore, Chloe's hacks take milliseconds for what would take others minutes to sift through. Okay. Alright, hack Mycelin. I was just checking on my puppy. Alright. Mycelin is the senior interior security guard itinerary. Chloe's thoughts. Chin Hao has some uses to us. From him, I found the real-time server access to the schedule of the interior security guards. Both at this compound and at the bullet train station that Rebecca and I need to go to. I can either rewrite the data so that there's a fake schedule for all the guards involved, or swap guards with imaginary ones. Alright, go back. This is how people are controlled. Mr. Chin Hao. You achieved as I would expect of your role from these past 2 years. You will be finally compensated for your efficient work. With equally efficient dispatch, as you now well know, the rebel skirmishes in North Eratolia needs to be met with no mercy. The whole families need to be brought to heel before they stop unpinning the very pillars of society. To show mercy is spineless in the face of such wholesale corruption. and is only going to cause this cancer to fester. For the people who bleed support for these leeches, we will continue to hit them with campaigns to discredit their professional worth. Let us see who is so ignorant as to support the rebel sim. No doubt your recent experiences can help us with this. In accommodation for your work, you are promoted to interior security role at the Capitol's redacted home compound. To serve your loyalists and their families, you are to continue to ensure a high standard of security and discipline among their ranks of our staff. You will be provided to stipend that can allow your immediate family to relocate the city. Reply. It is this guard's honor to continue to serve you. I am overwhelmed by the generosity which you visit upon this humble guard to be allowed to bring his brother and mother to live in this fine city. Enclosed is my signed letter of agreement. I look forward to everything that this role may bring. Sent 12 weeks ago. Alright, Chloe's thoughts. Disgusting. This is such a common vernacular among the senior ranks in the Capitol. This is why I want to leave. But the ID I'm wearing, Daria, is a trusted household staff member because of her simpering agreeability with the senior national security staff. Should I nod along to whatever my son says so he doesn't suspect me, or should I ask a cynical question about his loyalty to his superior ideology? It'll be the last chance I get to snark at these kinds of people. Oh, did I read her thoughts about the guard and no, yeah, I did. Okay. Simper at my son's success question. I'm gonna put in a fake schedule. Within several heartbeats, Chloe pulls the schedule into her mind to wreak the believable havoc on it. Chloe's falsified guard rotation neatly leaves open a 15-minute window for them to slip through undetected by manipulating server mathematics so that the schedule change is imperceptible. Whoever said time code was difficult easy, at least it is under Rebecca's careful tutelage of Chloe running this code in the sandbox mode earlier. More around-the-clock surveillance. Okay. Instant message. I knew my son was meeting with Daria, and now I've discovered why. This compound was my home for years, and now we are being outfitted by interior security folks. Daria, on order by Redacted, is giving information to my son to build new surveillance technologies and guard towers. She's tasked to give information of everyone living here, including me and Rebecca. I'm done with this. I can either biohack him to make him forget this whole thing, or relay incorrect data. Honestly, screw these people. Ooh, why does that turn red? Relay incorrect data. Fuck it, make them forget. In for a penny, in for a pound. There's nothing as final as Chloe's quantum tunneling right into the electrical neurons of someone's brain to make them forget what they're doing within the last few hours and the next few hours following that. My son will, for all intents and purposes, believe that he never met with Daria. His lack of alibi will protect Chloe and Rebecca in fleeing the immediate vicinity. It can devastate his short-term memory consolidation beyond a few hours. If Chloe slips up a few neurons in her hack, she hopes whatever may come, that she focused well enough. Red will probably frown over the action I took. Only in extenuating circumstances should you use biohack. I just want to keep us safe. Doesn't that justify its use? You're not updating me on something. No, I'm not. Did you biohack my son? How could you tell? How long have I known you for? Biohack's risky, so many unknown variables. Come on, Reb, don't nag. He's a tyrant. You have to conserve your energy. Fine, catch your breath, meet up at the rendezvous point, and we'll get our fake ID sorted. It's upsetting to know that I can't protect more people with the fake ID thing. There's a lot of bad people here, sure, but not everyone is. I can carry 2 people at most with my Icono Icono hacking power and the fake ID capacity only extends to folks whom I know inside out to friends. So, just Rebecca. I shouldn't dwell on it. Now's not the time. Okay, you're someone else now. The social media and the stats are up for you to read, familiarize yourself with them, etc., etc. Wait, some things are still worth remembering. Rebecca picks up some wild flowers by the wayside that are local to the outskirts of the Relta province. Wildflowers speed well, the flowers of fidelity and healing, and the blue ones symbolize the openness to new experiences. They seem to especially thrive here. Chloe knows why Rebecca picked it up. It feels momentous to remember something beside the community so warped by despotism that it is like a snake that eats its own tail. You know, I'm not a good reader. Like I like to read aloud. Just letting everybody, I like to read aloud to like help me, like read better. If that makes sense. So yeah. Remember where you came from, where you're going. It's okay to have something to acknowledge the past with, so we can deal with the future. But the path forward is never easy, not for Rebecca and not for Chloe. There's a physical pain of recovering from each of their full bodies of surgery to hide their original physical attributes. It wasn't enough to change their faces in this world. They can casually scan them down to their adherent DNA. For Chloe, at least she mentally picks at her new trellis of bones and sinew and flesh. As someone who can swap faces as easy as masks, for even childish reasons, the physical pain is a shock to her. It feels like permanence, and that has not registered as sharply until now. Chloe cannot keep up a fake idea for both of them to keep them hidden 24/7. So for a moment, she lets herself feel a blistering self-hatred for the limitations of her abilities. Her blood is swimming leashed into the furtive spaces of her elbows and her neck, and she floats in thought about the liminal spaces where they will find and rebuild themselves. Snack time. Sorry. Okay. This is our ticket to a new life out here, okay, Chloe? They're going to Versiva, the country of boisterous countercultures and celebrity politicians, and where the changing hands of power doesn't come with the expectation of bloodbath, broken families, and the tremors of revenge. But their headlong flight still leaves a palpable ache in Chloe, feeling rudderless without the constancy of the culture she grew up with, bubbling in everyday gestures and the passing of seasons. She's calcified into focusing on survival as the first and every other thought in a day. Acknowledging Versiva's culture and how it fits with her own jigsaw bits require a vulnerability that she does not feel like she has the luxury for. But she chose this, to lose everything but Rebecca. But Rebecca's smiling with supreme gentleness, shoulders relaxed in a way that Chloe hasn't seen for years. And Chloe thinks that all of this is really worth something. She wants to smile like that at her too. So she does. Yeah, it's okay since you're here. I don't know what the fuck is going on, to be quite real. The stretch of her own lips wakes Chloe with a start. She breaks her light sleep, coming to grips with how she's just arriving into Abraxa. It's been over a year since I've seen you in person, Rebecca. You were there for me for most of my life, first as my tutor, my mentor, then as my best friend and confidant. And now, hopefully you're still here in Lenora and I can come find you. Wait, why did we get separated? I'm confused. But I'm gonna take a drink. Y'all like gold peak tea? I do. My fiance put me on it. Anyways, at 21 years age, Chloe considers herself much more worldly and an intrepid hacker to boot, but even she can't help but gawk at the sheer scare of Abraxa's skyscrapers and dense harborlands. Abraxa is a self-sustaining city with free-wheeling market liberties and the appearance of autonomy due largely to its distance from the seat of power of Lenore Nation. But suddenly, all pretense of due process vanished as a digital smokescreen known as the Haze censors and works in tandem with the military-enforced lockdown, encompassing the entire district of Zircon Hill. All civilians who happen to be in the neighborhood are cordoned off from the rest of the society by military checkpoints since last week, with no supplies nor digital communications passing to and from the outside world. Chloe's here because she needs answers. Rebecca is missing, and the last that she's heard from her is that she's busy. She's busy. What the fuck? She's busy within the Zircon Hill neighborhood. They've always kept in touch, even as Rebecca found a new life for herself in Nebraska that separate from Chloe after graduation from our Technine Roundtree University in Versiva a year ago. Even when Rebecca traveled to heavily surveilled states, Chloe had still exchanged correspondence spruced up with their field notes. Chloe has a bubbling fear that something is wrong. Despite that, Rebecca is all cool, stoic gazes and nerves of steel, but her mentor often doesn't practice what she preaches and tends to get involved. It's not that she's not more than capable with her MacGyvering brain and her annoying taut muscles, but Chloe can't help but think that the timing of the lockdown and Rebecca's disappearance are more than just a coincidence. To stay in the city, Chloe hopes to blend in these experts, taking advantage of her work placement as a journalist with media outlet Topologist to have a work visa. I don't know how to say that. But now that she's on the ground, the anxiety of balancing, I don't know how to say that, intel gathering while ascertaining Rebecca's safety needles at her. My God. Hakeem. The local culture in Nebraska is really something else. There's always someone willing to deep dive into the philosophy and opinion about other experiences. According to the digital zeitgeist right now, Abraxans everywhere outside the Zircon Hill are furious. You'd think they'd be willing to share a lot with an outsider like me. Yeah, no doubt that there are many who are sick of the conglomerates, Nexer's oppression and secrecy. Nexer's the one enforcing this armed lockdown, fraying Abraxa's hard-won liberties. Oh, this isn't even your assignment. How did you even get the time to be so nosy about this, Hakeem? It's an interesting assignment. I never got such interesting assignments when I was at your age, and in a city that I have lots of memories in as well. Do you know I met my sweetheart here? Such romantic vibes in the city. For example, in Fathom Piers, if you know where to look. Hakeem's a senior journalist at Topologist. Chloe likes to think that it's her innate sleuthing and writing abilities that made him dote on her the most among all the juniors at the outlet. Ugh, please don't overshare. Hey, I'm leaving you in the very capable hands of a local specialist and friend, aren't I? He'll give you the lay of the land that I'm no longer privy to. Privy? I'll send you a wish you were here postcard from Abraxa while you're running reports on Versiva. That joke didn't land so well considering the military lockdown, sorry. As I was saying, my friend Torrent may be young, but he'll definitely know a few people who are stuck in the lockdown, as well as their relatives and friends outside. There are likely many good interview sources just through his network. Something tells me that he might even have lists to keep track of the folk who are missing and likely stuck within the lockdown already. Hakeem doesn't know outright that I'm concerned for a friend who's likely trapped by the lockdown. How should I try to probe Hakeem to see how far I can trust this Torrent regarding Rebecca? I can just ask about how Hakeem knows Torrent, or I can admit that I may know someone who's missing without naming Rebecca outright. I'm gonna ask him how much does he trust Torrent. A young guy who knows so much, huh? How'd you come across this Torrent again? He was a local fixer for one of our investigative journalism documentaries 2 years ago, which overlaps well with how well he's tapped onto the talk of the locals, both digital and on the streets. This includes the vernacular gossip and the community politics that's hard to tap into from the outside without a local. Huge foodie to boot. He's got a really vibrant map of the city. Don't let up on the opportunity to try some of his food recommendations. Well, what does he currently do? Works hard to come by, so his skills are underutilized, but he works part-time with a housing nonprofit to help underwage people find housing in Brexa. Sorry. That's actually nice. And of course, we try to give him freelance assignments as a fixer now and then. Why do ask? Just wanted to know your opinion as someone who is going to be a good source to me, that's all. So how much do you already know about the situation on the ground? I know that Rebecca is dating Sephora, one of the hottest names in showbiz right now, and Reb didn't even bother to tell me herself. I found out the same way as everyone else, through the fiber net. Well, I know the lockdown is happening in Zircon Hill, and that is ostensibly because of Nexers looking for a terrorist. But what kind of manhunt doesn't release more information about the person in question? Indeed, well, Zircon Hill has a reputation for the many community leaders and activists who live there. Is there any friction between the activist community and a company as big as Nexer? What do you know about Nexer? Well, they started off as an infrastructural company in roads and urban development. Then 2 decades ago, they put a lot of resources in developing a private security, kind of like mercenaries. I'm guessing it's lucrative considering that now they're diversifying into emergent biotech. It would be interesting to learn who the stakeholders are to push such seismic changes and why. That's why I'm on the ground. So, what do you have to get done in Versiva? Our boss wants us to pitch a new business plan to get more funders on board for our human rights investigative journalism team. Can't say I'm fond of our marketing tagline though. Be human together. Holy crap, it's so bad. What are we, an AI company? Help me pressure topologist to give me a raise to write better taglines. I'll help you. It's not that easy for me to influence our sizable, reputed world news source, you know that. Why do I even try so hard at this outlet? I ask myself the same question about you every day. Care about human rights, sass about promotions. We'll care about human rights. I care about the company's vision for journalists to speak truth to power and to do our part to protect human rights, obviously. I'm talking too fast. I know, heck, I remember it from your recruitment days. For what it's worth, I think there will still be situations here that will really challenge your perception of legal rights. As international biotech markets become increasingly contentious. Looking forward to learning about it. A little sincerity goes a long way. Oh, I've arrived at Fathom Piers. Got your luggage with you? Did you end up asking Tor to set you up with an encrypted apartment like I suggested? Yes. Oh, good. Knowing how you prefer to have your ear close to the ground, I figured getting him to freelance finding you a temporary residence is better than some stuffy hotel. You'll like him, I'm sure. I'll decide that myself. Can't believe the sun's already setting. By the time I get set up with an apartment, it's bound to be late at night. Prime time for real hackers doing what real hackers do to find intel, of course. Real hackers need sleep too, though, and you've been traveling for the better part of the day. The flight was long enough to catch a few hours of rest on the way. I'll be fine. Alright. I'm not gonna tiger mom you, Chloe. Meet up with Torrent, get settled in. You need anything else? We have this encrypted channel. You could trust Torrent. We'll see about that. Anyway, I'll let you know when I have more concrete information, or juicy gossip. Sometimes gossip's what helps society buffer through difficult times. Stay safe, Chloe. You too. Wonder if Torrent is gonna be like a love interest or something. I wouldn't be shocked. That's kind. I mean, I'm expecting it. The moment that Chloe makes eye contact with Torrent, she feels ripples of electricity unlike any other, like a unique time signature that hitherto unwritten in musical notation. Her eyes skim over him from head to toe, scanning the cybernetic implants and biochips, seeing none. He's an iconohacker just like her. A fission of something that she cannot name bubbles inside her, and she wonders what he specializes in to affect the physical and digital world at the neuroelectric level with but a thought. Chloe, right? Yeah, Torrent? That's me. Let's get you set up with an apartment. Torrent seems so quiet to Chloe at first, all pursed lips and navy hair hiding his eyes. Chloe can't sense his ID. His iconohacking makes his digital ID slide from her perception like oil on water. But probing deeper, Chloe can feel the fluidity of his neuronal axon dance just underneath his skin. Her face warms. Is that a trickle of sweat coursing down Torrent's jawline? Sweat seems jarringly human for someone so radiant with labyrinthine codec powder that his skin appears chrome to Chloe's iconohacking senses. He catches her staring, and they both flicker their gazes away. He's bringing up the proper protocols and forms to set Chloe up with a humble rental apartment with the seasoned fluidity of a local. Chloe's mind topsy-turvies to whether Rebecca's lived in a space like this one, if she's ever had a hard time falling asleep at night and worrying gnaws at her. You ever feel like you're the last person in this world? Pardon? Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Never mind. No, I want to know. You just sound so different from everyone else. I barely said anything. I meant you're hacking. I've never met another iconohacker before. You sound like a chorus of voices overlapping each other, but somehow not discordant. It's comforting. You're quiet, but in a poetic way. I'll do you're quiet in a poetic way. You sound like waves of afar. Wow. Well, you sound like waves on a faraway shoreline. You're very quiet. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's nice. I always hear too much. It's soothing to not feel completely surrounded by other people sometimes. Oh, I guess that's also nice. Oh. You're fitting around so quickly on the digital layers that I'm having a hard time reading you. If that's the case, is the inverse also true for you, that you can move around so quickly that you don't hear much of the people's socials and bios? Yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it. That's why I don't typically hear people much. That's so interesting and unique. Wonder how we'll work together. Your iconohacking focus is on displacement, illusion of teleportation. I'm guessing moving data around faster than anyone else. Did I get it? Nah, yes. You do something with bios? Yeah. Reading all the data on a person plus fake IDs and all that jazz. Being all the instruments in one orchestra, really. Getting to know me so well already. It's expected that a displacement hacker could move so fast. Ah, so the apartment leasing contract. I'll need your personal information here, please. Can't just search me up. Via hacking. Doesn't seem polite on the first meeting. Cute. My name's Chloe Lee. I'm 22, born on January 18th, 2007. I work with Topologist. As you know, it's my first job out of university. Here's 2 months of paychecks. I've already sent them my credit score via my company, but I want to know more about being in your company. Oh. Huh? What about you? Tell me about you. I'm not the one filling out the form. Just wanted to know more about my partner in crime moving forward. I mean, you're going to be telling me things about Abraxa and Hakim. Like Hakim said, right? Oh, right. Torrent is my chosen name. I'm 20. I've been in Abraxa all my life. That's about it. That can't be all. Well, Hakim likes saying that I can help people find others. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'll do my best. Why does he say you're good at finding others? Oh, I don't know. I don't think he used the word good. Next to you, I think you're much better at that sort of thing than I am. Huh. That's the first time someone's tried to humble their way out of giving me an answer. No, I mean it. Your abilities include information extraction from other people's bios, right? So that's a much more direct correlation to finding someone than displacement abilities. Yes and no. I'd have to be within my quantum tunneling range, which is more or less the visual range of being able to count the numbers of fingers on a hand, except that it can go through barriers. So not so helpful to find a person in a metropolis when I don't know the lay of the land. I do know the city well, and cars can sometimes reveal a lot of information about where people are. So, who do you want to find? My best friend Rebecca went missing. My best friend Rebecca is missing since the Zircon Hill lockdown. She's now working as Zephora's manager. They're both accounted for at this moment. Oh, they're a cute couple. Oh, okay. Not focused on their respective talents, but because they're dating each other. Sephora's got so many films under his belt, both on the production side and as an actor. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm being randomly defensive about, well, what people say and just everything out there, you know? It's not your fault. My nerves are just shot from the situation, and I want to find them safe. It's alright. Hey, I get it. You just got off a long flight, and you haven't even unpacked yet, and for some reason I could sense that you're tired. Like, really tired. Not usually this good at reading people. Maybe it's the Icono hacking connection. Maybe so. Thanks for trusting me by mentioning that it's your best friend out here. I really hope we can find them both. Don't make it weird and thank me. Oh, I'm not trying to make you feel weirded out or anything. Oh my god, this guy is so soft. It'll help me get a better night's sleep rest just knowing that we're gonna do next. Okay, sounds like we should plan for how we might do this. Not to mention that we have a lot of untested variables here. How will our abilities sync up with each other? Or let's start with what our known limitations are. Tell me a time when you've lived close to the edge. Chloe, how are you so open about this? I mean, Icono hackers are either treated as an urban myth or entrapped into a test tube lab. Not saying I don't appreciate you being like this, but I mean, it's just taken me a bit. Sorry, habits, and yeah. I'm not open about this to just anyone. I trust Hakeem's vouching for you. I don't think it's a coincidence that he put the two of us together, and I also really want to find Rebecca. Okay. And you're a bit like an open book, even without my Icono hacking gathering data on you. But if you're shy, I can start. My ability to read data on a person works in intuiting what their top of mind thoughts are, extracting such associated digital media. Well, there's this one time when I tried to project a fake ID over myself and one other person and try to impact data. Got caught trying to prevent a lot of nonprofit money from getting sent right into the pockets of vicious death squad. Turns out I can do no more than two things at once. Maintaining two fake IDs or maintaining one fake ID and scoping out someone's bios and intel. Jeez, okay. I'm glad you're alright since you're here and all. Yeah, well, I don't have a story to top that one. I tried to get my older brother out of a sticky situation with Nexer once. Oh shit. My displacement works with an illusion for myself. It works all the time. For other people, I need to have eye-line sight of them every few seconds for it to work. I can be somewhere other than where I appear to be to everyone, but unfortunately when I encode the displacement on other people, including my brother, only about 15 odd folks perceive them at the fake locations. Then what happened? Well, we'll save the rest of the story for another time. You tease. I'm not trying to. So, can't you use your powers for chaos and steal priceless artifacts from colonizing museums during their opening hours, huh? Nah. And you can't just hide all the innocent people under lockdown and bundle them out? No, I've gotten max 3 people. I'm bundling with my displacement technique. Though I do alright with hacking vehicles and getting us to the right places. Why do I get the feeling that you're being humble right now and you're the kind of person who'd write rap songs about your drifting skills? It's not true. I haven't helped anyone out of lockdown yet, because alone I don't think I can safely get in and get out with someone else at all. We still need some way of getting past the haze. You said you need to be within your quantum tunneling range to pick up fake IDs and to hack information. Can you build fake IDs from owners' data extracted from cars? Let's test this out. Torrent, despite his shyness, is a careful and meticulous planner. They continue to strategize as the early evening eddies around them. Planning like this with someone who knows and cares about the nooks and crannies of the neighborhood that they're breaking into brings her into a focused state unlike any other. Also, there's a pleasant honesty about Torrent and Chloe feels perceived by him. Wait a sec. Does Hakeem know that you have vested interest in covering the story? I try not to overload his noggin, you know? The senior reporter's got a lot on his mind. He doesn't need to worry about me. Oh. Are you mad at me? Please don't be mad. We've got to work at dusk tomorrow. Chloe's not used to not being able to just know someone's adrenaline levels and general health. Without conscious thoughts, she reaches out to touch Torrance's pulse on his wrist. His eyes widen. Torrance's displacement ability comes down hard on her, encoding. She mentally twists away, trying to succeed at reading Torrent with her bioskin. It's like trying to separate oil from water with her bare hands. Hey. Alright, I was just doing one last test on what syncs up between you and me. You can somehow get some vague impressions of my feelings via our icono-hacking link, but meanwhile, and unfairly, I can't use my usual tricks to figure out how you really feel about. You're not shutting me out on purpose, aren't you? Not consciously. Anyways, you don't need to know how I feel. Sorry, that's valid. I'll stop teasing you. Please save your energy. I don't want either of us hitting code rot. I mean, Hakeem tells me to try to be as light with my icono hacking as I can so that I don't disrupt people in the things I don't have to. Oh, he's never dared to mention my icono hacking to my face, even though he must have put two and two together to link us up. How'd you come to trust him with that kind of intel? Hakeem spun media attention away from my icono hacking when he figured it out, since he was there when only 15 people fell for my displacement icono hacking. And I've only come into my icono hacking a few years ago. Hakeem's always there to talk me through the abilities that I'm responsible for. That's respectable. So you're like the eco-tourist of the icono hacking world, huh? This icono hacking world is population 2 as far as I've personally experienced. Okay, admittedly same. 2 people who need to rest up for tomorrow. We'll meet before sunset. Alright, I can take the hint. We've got our plan. I'm gonna wish you a good night then. As he leaves the building, Chloe can't help but notice that the flurry of his movements via his icono hacking obscures the sound of his heartbeats like sheets of wind. Chloe knows better than to be restless the night before his stealth attempt. Nonetheless, it's almost too thrilling and strange to fall asleep. And on that note, everybody, I will catch y'all later.